low, beds are scarce, and people are desperate to get treatment for their loved ones. Some people are putting their families in the backs of cars and auto rickshaws as they set out desperately in search of help. I was watching some stuff on TV last night, and my heart was just breaking. Anyway, we've got Dr. Session here right now with us. We're going to do the COVID update, and I suspect that we're going to be talking a lot about India this morning. Good morning, Dr. Seshni.
Good morning. Good morning, Apoku. Yes, I mean, it is really heartbreaking what's going on in India. And how are you today?
I'm very well. Sorry, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Very well, thank you. It's just heartbreaking looking at the images online and
Yes.
watching videos yesterday on telly and seeing what's going on in India.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, India definitely is the largest producer of vaccines in the world, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I mean, exactly what you're seeing on the TV, radio, and all these places is what's happening in India. I've had that confirmed with students that I'm teaching for the exam, as you know. They're in different parts of India, in Punjab, Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, and, a few of the other states. And exactly what we are seeing on the radio and what we are seeing in the videos is exactly what's happening, if not more. We've been watching it daily. It is heartbreaking, as you said, because India is a country which was supplying the rest of the world with PPE, with oxygen, with the vaccines. But unfortunately, it seems that it's out of control now. It's been out of control for a few weeks now, and you know, don't know what could have contributed to it. There's so many different factors, but as it stands, within 4 days, India went up to over 1 million people infected. India is a population of over 1.4 billion people. As it stands, the coronavirus, in terms of India, it's 149 million 359,111. And sorry, no, this is globally. In terms of India, sorry, I'm going to India cases now. So in India is 17,997,267 global cases. So it's number 2 in the world. It's overtaken Brazil, as we know. The total number of deaths are 201,187. And it's increasing every day. It's having over 300,000 cases a day. The number of deaths they're saying is about 2,000 plus. So if we look at the last 24 hours, I don't think the figure's been updated because on the world,
it only says 22.
Yeah, 22, which obviously isn't correct, because in Delhi alone yesterday I read that there was 380 deaths, and if not more. Some of the footage of the videos are saying that it's possible that India has been they are actually having more deaths than what they're saying, because there's actually crematoriums being built all over India. Within a day, overnight, people are trying to build crematoriums because of the last rites and because of the funeral, how, important it is when people do, end up dying. But the situation is so bad. I mean, the videos, I don't know what, we've been watching the whole day, morning to evening, and talking. The one student I had yesterday, his family's in Delhi, but he's in the UK, and they're safe. But there's so many people. I mean, it's just people that we know, people that we've heard about, and obviously, it's for me, it's like our ancestors as well. Our origins come from India, so it's very sad at this moment in time to see what's going on. India is in a crisis situation. There's no oxygen. The beds are full. There's no space in the no beds at all in the hospitals. The people are traveling, as you said. They're traveling in cars and taxis with their relatives to the hospitals, only to find that there's no beds and no oxygen. People are buying oxygen on the black market, and that's how they're trying to keep their family alive. But I mean, all the footage that we've watched is, I mean, all of the headlines says, be aware that it's quite
it's so heartbreaking. I mean, if this person goes to the hospital with
Yeah.
their relative in a rickshaw,
yeah,
and
yeah,
sees the sister, and the doctor said, "Sister, help us! Doctor, help us! You are God."
yeah,
You know, that's how desperate
Yeah.
people have become.
it is.
Desperate to save their own,
Yeah,
to get the flesh and blood to live,
Yeah.
not to die of COVID. And it's very heart wrenching. You know, it's just, you think about somebody telling the doctor, "You are God." You
Yeah.
know, he's gotten to that point where, you know, please help us in any way you can. You know,
Yeah.
I'm calling you God now.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know.
And they can't be saved, because what's happening is, like, Ferdinand and I've been talking about it daily, and the kids, just, and I know the situation in India, because I was in India February last year with my mom in the hospital in Puttaparthi, at Prashanti in Sai Baba's ashram. So we were in the state hospital, and then we went to the Bangalore, the private hospital. So I know exactly what the situations were. We did a radio show from India, the COVID-19 update very early on. And at that stage, there was nothing happening in India. India was really quiet. There were no cases and everything was under control. So India was very much under control. And we'll talk about what could have contributed to it. But just coming to how the in terms of how the hospitals were, exactly what you were seeing is exactly what I had seen. That's the state of the hospitals. But now you can imagine there are now people that need hospitalization and they can't get it. And for us in India, when we were in India, you had to have money, you had to be able to pay for the health care. If you didn't have that, you would not be able to receive it. So this is now my concern, is knowing, having been to India, been to the hospitals there and seeing exactly what it's like. It's definitely, I can just imagine. That's the visions I'm getting, daily, just thinking about how I used to go to the ashram and then go to the hospitals and see my mom. Thankfully, my mom recovered that time, which was amazing, because India itself, the healthcare is usually good, but they've not prepared for it, Apoku. I think what happened is, what I'm hearing is a few reasons. One was India did quite well in the first episode of the pandemic, and people got quite relaxed. Two is they had a lot of celebrations. They had the Kumbh Mela, which is a 2-month celebration with thousands of people. And as we've spoken about, I told you about the Mahashivratri, which I watch online. There's so many festivals, and they've had thousands of people. The third thing is the government had elections. They've had rallies. Narendra Modi, the PM Narendra Modi was at one of, was responsible for one of these, and that didn't help. And then the fourth, they had, I think, their farms protests. So there's so many things going on. The fifth reason is there's not enough vaccines, as you pointed out. India's
Well,
been.
this thing just popped up on my computer. It's just some breaking news, and let me just read it to you quickly.
Yeah.
So the COVID surge in India may seem a million miles away from us, but the reality is, what's happening in this nation of 1.2 billion people does impact the rest of the world. For a start, and this is where caught my attention. For a start, India is the world's vaccine powerhouse.
Yeah.
And any slowdown in production will impact global vaccination efforts too. Then there is the chance that out of control infections will allow further mutation of the virus, potentially developing strains which are vaccine resistant. That's also a very important point. And for these and humanitarian reasons, it is imperative the disease is brought under control.
Yeah.
So the first thing is there might be a slowdown in the production of vaccines, because we all know that India is the powerhouse of vaccines. And then the second thing is the chances of mutations. If as you explain every morning when you talk about the mutations and how these strains change and all that, the more the infections go on, the better or the bigger the chances of different strains and mutations.
Yeah.
And that is no good for us.
Well, exactly. So just touching on the points, the other reasons I was coming to was about the mutation. So India is the virus has triple mutated, so it's changed. I was watching a video on India Today with Prof. Shirdar. She's a scientist, and she's been quite active in the COVID in the UK, and she's in University of Edinburgh. And what she explained was that when we have mutations, the only way in which we can reduce mutations and reduce the virus getting so clever is by vaccination and reducing the spread. So in the UK, what helped us is that we had lockdown a few times, 3 times, and we had mass vaccination. Now, this is what India needs to do. But unfortunately, in India, there is not enough economic packages to be able to help the communities. India, as you said, a population of 1.2 billion. If they go into total lockdown as we went into, the economy will suffer, because there's people that are street vendors, there are people that are begging on the street, there are people in the rural areas. There's a huge divide in terms of the economics in India. So what we did would not be possible in India. There are curfews, there are lockdowns in place, but unfortunately, unless the government is able to reduce the spread, reduce the transmission, and provide mass vaccination, the situation in India is not going to get better. So I think that is the situation, and that is my huge concern. If by some miracle we have thousands of aeroplanes going to India and just dropping, the supplies and dropping oxygen tanks and vaccines, that would be a miracle, to help India. If the rest of the world actually helps them. But in this moment in time, what the scientists are predicting and what doctors are predicting and they are saying, and healthcare workers, nurses, is that the situation is for the next 4 weeks, especially the next 2 weeks, is going to get worse, because the virus has mutated. There's no way that they're reducing the transmission at the moment. Testing is being done, but not enough testing, and there's not enough oxygen. So unfortunately, the virus is spreading the virus, and therefore it gives it a better chance for it to mutate. And then that in itself is causing so much of difficulties, because we are not even sure that the vaccine is going to help for that. I know personally, I've spoken to a few people, and the one said he had both doses of the vaccine, the Pfizer, and he's been infected 3 times. And he's in India. So, and they've got family members that have been infected and recovered, thankfully. But there are lots of people we've heard, and because we've got some very close friends from India and the UK as well, and they've got family that we've met, and obviously, we all connect, and we've got friends and family in India and our ancestors. So it is really a concern, and everyone is praying for India, and I'm just hoping that some miracle that India is going to recover this. Just on another note, the vaccines, you were saying that India is a powerhouse, and that whatever's happening in India is going to affect the rest of the world, and that's exactly how I feel, because whatever's happening in India, Poku, it's going to affect everyone, and maybe not now, but it is going to affect us. A lot of the things we get, we've got the Spice Delights, and the Happy Doctor's Kitchen, our spices, a lot of it comes from India. It comes from South Africa, but also India. And there's so many other things that we depend on, like the vaccines, medications, clothing, and I'm not sad for that obviously these things are going to be affected, but I'm sad for the whole nation, for the whole of India, and our brothers and sisters that are going through such a difficult time. and we're feeling so helpless that we can't do much but support the people there and give them advice and support, and just watch what's going on. But yes, whatever's happening in India is going to affect, yes, not only the vaccine production, but the economy of a lot of countries. So I think that's what we need to realize.
Yeah, it's not an isolated case at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the world should rally. We should all rally around and help India get out of this terrible situation. Because if we don't, it's going to come right to our doorstep. Definitely.
Exactly, and I mean, but the UK did offer support, and UK has sent supplies.
France as well, I hear.
France and Biden, US President Biden has also offered their doses of vaccines and support, technical support. So there are countries that are actually trying to help India, but it is in a crisis. I'm not going to downplay it at the moment. It's very worrying. It's concerning. There's thousands of people that are getting infected and piles of bodies in the different areas. Because you can imagine, like Ferdinand explained yesterday to one of the doctors we were teaching, his family's in Delhi, and he was saying, but the videos we're seeing is people that are able to get to the hospitals, and they are even dying.
People who are not able to get there.
Well, this is it, and they don't have money. If you had to choose between, obviously, they don't have the money even to go for transportation, because if you don't have it, people are not going to give you. People are earning a living, and so how are they able to go to the hospitals? And if they're not going to the hospitals, what is happening to their family members, and what's happening to them? So and this colleague was saying that they know at least every family. It seems like every family, they know someone that's been infected. So that is how the situation is. It's not like you're in India and you're isolated. I was reading an article of a lady in Surrey, and she's got relatives, at least 9 relatives that have died in the 5 of COVID and other 4 non-COVID. And there's also people from the UK stuck in India, and because they've had positive tests of COVID-19, they've not been able to travel. And so coming to travel, India is on the red list. People will not be able to travel to India, and all the borders are going to be closed to India, and not just from the UK, all over the world.
All over the world, yeah. That's a terrible situation. Let's move away from India now.
Okay. Yeah.
16 minutes past 7, and as horrible and as terrible as the situation is in India, we've also got to look at the rest of the world, especially the United Kingdom where we're living. And I've got this article in front of me. I read it earlier on in the UK news, and I said that I was going to ask you to explain to us better, since you're a doctor and you know these things better. Now, let me just read a couple of paragraphs. A single dose of a coronavirus vaccine can reduce household transmission of the virus by up to half. The study shows. Now, so those giving a first dose of either the Pfizer or AstraZeneca vaccines, and who will become infected 3 weeks later, were between 38% and 49% likely to pass the virus on than unvaccinated people, PhD found. So the health secretary described the study as terrific news. He's urged everybody to get the vaccines as soon as they are eligible. Okay, so what does this really mean? This I'm sure you understand it better than myself.
Yes, so what we've been seeing, and it's a very important study, and thank you, Apoku, for bringing this to our attention, because this is what it's saying, is that people need to get vaccinated, because the studies have actually shown that when people have been given at least just the first dose of the vaccines, that actually it's reduced the hospitalization and the risk of reinfection by at least 50%. So overall, all the doses that you get, if you get 1 dose or 2 doses, it's going to reduce the ability that that the virus is going to infect you, and also reduce that you will need admission in hospital. So definitely it's showing that even just after 14 days, 2 weeks after having the vaccine, that it has reduced transmission by 50% in hospitalization. So then, and obviously, if you've had both doses, it's even better. Despite obviously the side effects and the warnings about AstraZeneca and, obviously the side effects that you will get with vaccines, overall studies are showing that it cuts the risk of household transmission, it cuts the risk of hospitalization, and also the spread. And we've seen that. We've seen that people who have had, we know that the figures have gone dramatically down, and it's a combination of the lockdown as well as the rollout of the vaccines that it's reduced it. So I think this is what the evidence they're using to say that. So if you've got the vaccine, obviously you are going to build immunity. So this is what it boils down to. So I was coming to that point. I'm sorry. So you will build immunity. So obviously with the immunity, that will obviously protect you to get the virus, that you won't get it, so it reduces your risk of getting it and also the risk of transmitting it if you do get it. So overall, the vaccine does help. So this is what it's saying. For obviously the current strains that we've got in the UK, the vaccine has shown that it's reducing and it's providing the immunity it should provide, because people are having antibody testing, and obviously it's showing that they've got antibodies and they are able to not get the infection. And if they do get it, they will be able to obviously recover from it. So I think these are the main things, because obviously if you've got the vaccine and the risk of transmission is decreased, and obviously the risk of you getting it and then spreading it to your family, your household, and everyone else is reduced. And this is, like Prof. Sridhar was saying, is max vaccination and lockdown. These were the key things in terms of reducing the numbers in the UK, because the more we reduce the numbers, the less chance the virus has to mutate, and the less chance the virus will spread, and the less we have the number of deaths and number of cases. And that's exactly what has happened in the UK. If we do get, they were predicting a third and fourth wave in May and June. So obviously, I think even though we are getting the vaccines and that we are getting we are sort of we're not in full lockdown, because things have opened up, but I think we're still adhering to the public guidance, which is wearing masks, hand sanitizers, maintaining social distancing, and traveling only unless absolutely essential in group of 6. And I think if we remain like that, I think we can continue to tackle the COVID pandemic. But if the situation changes, like 17th of May will be a good test, because that's when traveling is going to be open. People are going to be able to travel overseas. We also know that we're also going to be able to have more socializing, larger gatherings. So this is going to be the test of whether the vaccine also is helping, and what's going to happen in terms of the numbers.
Well, well, we're getting there somewhere somehow, aren't we? And then whilst we're explaining, you talked about side effects. You briefly brushed on it. And checking on the news this morning, they're saying that the most common side effect of the vaccine, obviously, are pain or tenderness at the injection site, which I had when I had my just a little bit, something almost unnoticeable. You can just feel some tenderness and a little pain there. Like a sore arm and all that. And they're saying that roughly 1 in 4 people had wider effects like fever, headache, nausea, and fatigue. But all these only lasted on average for 1 day, which is also true, because I've got friends who had the vaccine. They said, "Oh, I had a bit of fever." Like you remember that time we were talking about it, and we got one of our listeners sent us a word that, well, he had fever, but it was only overnight, like 24 hours thing, you see. So on this note, I'd like to encourage, those who haven't had the jab yet, and especially those who think that there's going to be some serious side effect and all that. It's not really the case, really, is it?
Yeah,
This is just
I mean, there is, yes, as you said, the most common side effects, and as you experience, is pain on the site of the injection and swelling. And
yeah,
also, some people have felt very weak in that arm. So
yeah,
that's what I've been hearing from a lot of people over the past weeks, since the rollout and months of the vaccine. And as you said, the studies show that headache and the sore arm are the most common side effects. And then the others where people have experienced, I know most people have said within 24 hours, or 48 hours, um, they developed some systemic reaction, which was headache, tiredness, or chills and fever. So these were the other sort of side effects: muscle aches and pains, fever-like symptoms, sore throat, and yeah, so 70% of people did have the so with having the Pfizer experience pain and swelling, and 60% for the AstraZeneca. So they're saying that it is mild and short-lived, as you've said. And yeah, so those are the main things. Just with regards to the clots, obviously, I think that's still AstraZeneca. I think we are still hearing that in the AstraZeneca, this the side effect of the clot is still there, and I think it's gradually increased in terms of the risk. So that's just obviously the other thing to be. They're saying that it is a side effect, but the benefits outweigh the side effects of the clots, and not everyone has experienced it. So yeah, that's still obviously the news in terms of the AstraZeneca. So yeah, so they're saying it's rare, but it is a side effects, and they're saying that obviously it's the benefits. You know, when we take medications and when we take vaccines or any interventions, it's always about weighing the risks and benefits. So what are the risks of getting the vaccines? What are the side effects and what are the benefits? So I think what they're saying is the benefits of getting the vaccine, reducing your risk of getting COVID-19, the spread of it, and obviously death as well, is obviously those risks are obviously outweigh those benefits
benefits
outweigh
outweigh the
the
risks.
risk
Okay,
of.
the effects. Okay, side effects. All right, should we just run through the numbers now? We've only got 4 minutes to go.
Yes, I've got the numbers, yeah, in front of
Yeah.
me. So
Before we do that, I'd like to say that India has jumped to number 2 and overtaking Brazil by over 3 million
yeah.
infections. Even though the deaths are much less than Brazil and the United States. Yeah, so let's do the numbers now.
Yeah. And just to say, in India, from the news, what they're saying is that the figures might not be accurate, because obviously they're not getting all the figures. So we might be seeing certain figures, but I don't think all the figures are being reported. So it might be different from the worldometer, but that's what we have at hand at the moment. So in terms of the coronavirus, worldometer is as of today, the 28th of April. Yeah, time's just gone. And it's 149,359,118 global cases worldwide. So that's quite a large number that we've reached. Total number of deaths is 3,149,381 in every life matters. Total recovered is 127,040,432 in terms of those that have recovered. In the US is number one with 32,927,091 positive cases, with 587,384 deaths. India number two with 17,997,267 positive cases, with 201,187, and India crisis continues. Number three is Brazil with 14,446,541 positive cases, with 395,324, and France number four with 5,534,313 positive cases with 103,603 deaths. Russia number 5 with 4,779,425 positive cases with 108,980 deaths, and UK number 7 with 4,409,631 positive cases with 127,451 deaths. South Africa number 20 with 1,577,200 positive cases with 54,237 deaths. And Ghana is quite low. Ghana's done extremely well and is quite safe. It's number 93 in the world with 92,464 positive cases and 779 deaths. And in terms of the UK 24-hour figures, just go to that, is we've had 17 new deaths, so the numbers have gone down significantly with 2,685 new cases.
Let's do the previous days because we weren't here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've missed the morning shows, to be honest. I've really missed it.
No.
So,
go on.
Yeah, so the last the 24 hours before that was April 26th, 6 new deaths with 2,064 new cases. Then it was 11 new deaths on the 25th of April with 1,712 new cases. April 24th was 2,061 new cases with 32 new deaths. And April 23rd was 40 new cases with 2,778 new cases. April 22nd was 18 new deaths with 2,729. And then, April 21st was 22 new deaths with 2,395. So, so I think it's been in the range of, obviously, April 26th was only 6 new deaths, which was quite low. So they have reached quite low figures, and obviously 1,700 in terms of infections. So hopefully we're going to start to see numbers under 1,000 in terms of the number of infected, and
hopefully we'll have the 0 thing.
Because
February.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you remember that the first song I played after we done on the 2nd of February? I played a song right after we finished the update. Do you remember that song?
I think I remember you playing a song. I can't remember what the name of it was. But
we shall overcome with Diana Ross. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play that now. Just just to encourage our brothers and sisters in India, because we know that's where the situation is terrible now. Yeah. So in fact,
we're praying for India. We are praying very hard
to our brothers and sisters in India to assure them that we shall definitely overcome. There's an old African saying that the kite never stays. It doesn't stay in the clouds forever. It will drop one day. Yeah. So that's what I want to encourage our brothers and sisters in India. We love them. We're praying for them, and we shall overcome together. Yes, we all shall overcome.
Thank you so much, Apoku. That is amazing, because we will get through this together, and we definitely will. And the whole world is praying for India, and it's amazing that I do believe in the power of prayer. When I was in India with my mom in hospital, she recovered miraculously with prayer, and she was able to go back home. And so I definitely know the power of prayer. Going to the ashram, the Prashanti really helped, and my mom was receiving light from me. So it was definitely something that helped, and I do believe that the power of prayer and light.
Thank you very much, Dr. Feshni, for joining us this morning, and we shall see you hopefully tomorrow morning on the same show.
Thank you so much, Apoku. Let's spread the love and not the virus. And namaste, everyone. Stay safe wherever you are.
Right.
Thank you for playing that song.
Fantastic day. And that was Dr. Feshni the mood. Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. That was a hospital radio update.